Yo, welcome to the channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you're not. It is Shot by Curt. Now today's video we're going to talk about me owning the Canon R6 for what's getting close to a year now, and my thoughts and opinions on it, what I like and what I don't. Alright, first things first, full frame 4K. I still rock with the full frame 4K, even though it has a slight crop. Nothing crazy. It's nothing like the EOS R, and if you've seen past videos, you know, me talking about the EOS R and this, the crop was like 1.7, 1.8 on the 4K. This one is like 0.07, something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a small crop. The next thing is the 4K 60. I enjoy the 4K 60 now that I've, you know, kicked 4K 120 out of my brain. At one point before this camera and the Canon R5 came out, the only thing that we all wanted, if we didn't have it, was the 4K 60. Now we have it. They announced the R5 first, and that 4K 120 just kind of threw everybody's brains off what they really wanted, just because the R5 sounded like a perfect camera. Then they announced the R6 and it was kind of like, oh man, this camera's not good enough. Well, if you strip away, you know, whatever expectation you had once the R5 came out, we only were really asking for 4K 60 to go, you know, to accompany the 4K 120, especially on these Canon cameras if you didn't have like a 1DX or a cinema camera. This camera has 4K 60 and I actually still enjoy that. 1080 120 frames. I just talked about 4K 120 and the lack thereof it, but the 1080 120 is really good. People haven't been able to tell the difference when I mix in like a 1080 shot with a 4K 24, like in a music video or something like that. So, you know, 1080 120 is absolutely fine. So another thing that I actually really liked about this camera, the EOS R has C-Log, this camera has C-Log, but now with this 1.4 update, C-Log 3 is now a thing. And while I'm not the best colorist or a colorist at all, I have a look that I go for, and you know, that's pretty much what I've been used to. But over time I've been, you know, more intrigued with trying to learn how to color, you know, watching YC color videos, watching Ryan color videos and things like that, and just kind of like spark my interest to want to make my own look. And you know, now having C-Log 3, I get more dynamic range out of my shots, so I can, you know, kind of balance my my shots a lot better in terms of exposure. I get that extra stop of light, and then I can go into post with the 10-bit, you know, 422, and then I can kind of try to push and pull colors to see if I can create my own look. And not to say that I couldn't do that with the C-Log, but it's just now I can try to experiment a little bit more with the C-Log 3, so I enjoy having that. This camera actually has solid low light. Being that it's a 20 megapixel camera, the pixels are a lot bigger versus like the R5, and it has 45 megapixels, so the pixels are smaller. Low light, it suffers a little bit. You'll get grain introduced a lot faster with the R5 versus the R6, being that the pixels are bigger, so that's actually pretty cool, being able to shoot in low light. Granted, I try not to depend on that too much, just because, like, you know, lighting makes your scene, or just, you know, it helps you be able to keep the quality. So, you know, you can shoot at your base ISO versus having to raise it up to 6400 or 12,800, which is actually pretty solid on this camera. But to be honest, like, you should be using lighting whenever you can, and I try to make sure I do that. Another feature that came on the back of that 1.4 update is dual video recording, I should say specifically. Dual video recording. That's something that I don't really use like that, but it's cool to have in the event that I need it. I kind of wish that you could record like proxies to one memory card and just the original media to another, but beggars can't be choosers. And again, that's one that I just don't even really use like that, but it's cool that it's there. So on to the things that I don't really care for still with this camera. You already guessed it, it's the overheating thing, but it's the overheating timer more so than the camera overheating itself. I just hate that you see 29:59 when you start and you record 10 minutes of 4K, like doing a talking head like I'm doing right now, you stop the recording and then all of a sudden you only got 15 minutes left to record. That irks my nerves. Like when you're on a music video set and it's a long one, then you know you record you a few clips and this and that, it goes down to 25 minutes. Then you record some more, 20 minutes. You go down, you record some more B-roll, 4K 60 or you know whatever, 15, 20, 10 minutes. Like that's annoying. Now shooting in 1080, like it's unlimited recording. 1080, 120, 60, whatever you want to record in 1080 is unlimited. But if you spend $2,500 on a camera, you would want to be able to use the 4K as much as you possibly can, you know, whether it's for cropping purposes or you just want the full quality out of your camera. So that's a problem, but I mean, I'm learning to live with it. So not being able to view the files easily is definitely another problem, especially with this camera being out for close to a year. The R5 being out for a year already at this point. Now the A7S III seems like anything that has that HEVC or 10-bit 422 format, like you can't view it easily in your Finder window. That sucks. That really sucks. Again, this is something I personally feel, not trying to bash y'all, but this is something that I personally feel like y'all should have communicated and already had this sorted out. But I don't like that. We're not even going to dwell on it. I don't like that. Going back to the price point for a second, $2,500. The IBIS wobble. Like you shoot anything 24 or wider, you're automatically going to get those wobbles in the corner. I guess that it is what it is, but you shoot anything 24 and tighter, then it actually works perfectly normal like it's supposed to. But the IBIS wobble is not okay, especially when you want to shoot an establishing shot wide, 15, 20, 24, and then you get these wobbles almost even still if you're standing still, like not on a tripod, but like if you're handheld, trying to get an establishing shot, like yeah, it's a no-go. So anything that I've shot handheld over the last 8 months or maybe longer, all of it's been with the IBIS turned off. At this point, luckily I've gotten better at shooting handheld shots, whether wide or close, but yeah, IBIS, I don't use it. Last but not least is just pretty much the fact that it does not have custom video settings. You have custom photo settings, but you do not have custom video settings, and I think that sucks. More so based on the fact that past cameras I've had custom video settings and things like that. So for those cameras that I had prior to be older and I had custom video settings, and then to have this camera and not have custom video settings, I feel that that's kind of a step in the wrong direction. But that's just me personally. I'm not the only person that feels that it should have custom video settings, but I might be the only person that feels that it's a step in the wrong direction for you to strip that off of a camera, especially when older cameras had it, Canon cameras included. That's going to conclude me talking about the things that I do not like about this camera, or that I'm just not okay with this camera. That's actually also going to end the video. So if you liked the video or you enjoyed it in any sort of way, or it helped you, consider hitting that like button, consider hitting the subscribe button so then you can be notified when I drop content like this. I'm definitely going to try to bring y'all more R6 content. I just kind of fell off of it because I didn't think, and this is my bad, but I didn't think that people wanted to hear me just go on and on and on and on about this camera that I have here. But I also got to think that somebody's always going to be new to the camera. Somebody might be considering buying the camera just like I was at one point, but when I was considering it, nobody had it really except for the people that got it beforehand and reviewed it. But there's always somebody who's thinking about buying a camera or something like that. So I'm gonna try to bring y'all more Canon R6 content, and that's all the more reason why you should subscribe and hit that bell notification. Y'all stay creative, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.